What's going on, everyone? So let's talk about Kevin Durant. Now, there's some murmurs, nothing crazy, right? A lot of questions of like, would Kevin Durant even want to come to the Lakers? But regardless, right? Kevin Durant does have a lot of power, does have a lot to say, right? He is on an expiring contract. So he is a guy that could just say like, hey, I only want to go to Lakers. He could pull an Anthony Davis, right? Hey, you guys could trade for me, but if you, just so you know, I'm only going to finish the year and then you're going to lose your assets and then I'm going to go sign with the Lakers, right? And Kevin Durant doesn't make sense for the long term, but he does make a ton of sense in the short term, right? Kevin Durant is probably one of the best plug and play guys in all of basketball, right? And he's a guy that wouldn't take away from Luka and LeBron, right? Like there were questions at times. Yes, at times it looked great with, Austin Reeves, Luka Doncic, and LeBron. But there's also times where it looked really clunky. And Austin Reeves was kind of the odd man out, or he got relegated to a spot and shoot, or catch and shoot 3-point shooter, and it was just like a little awkward. You know who's really good at that? Kevin Durant. You know who can be on ball at times and can take over and kind of play the Austin Reeves role and, have success? Kevin Durant. You know who could also play off ball and has done it on several stints and is arguably better off ball than he is on ball? Kevin Durant. You know who could hit the three ball with some consistency and help close down the stretch and help hit big shots? And you know who will show up in the postseason and you don't have to worry about him fading away? Kevin Durant, right? Like Kevin Durant makes a ton of sense for the Lakers, but it would be a more short-term move. It'd be something where it's like, hey, you're going for one last push. You're trying to get LeBron, Kevin Durant, one more reign, maybe two, right? Get Luka his first, and maybe two, right? And then that's it. Kevin Durant leaves, LeBron leaves, hopefully they retire at the same time. So you free up, $120 million in cap space and whatnot. And then you're off to the races, right? There are talks about Giannis and the Lakers maybe looking to go bring in Giannis. I think that's a little bit of a pipe dream. Never say never. Obviously, look what just happened. But Giannis also doesn't have the say, right? Like Milwaukee doesn't even have to trade him. He has multiple years on his deal. And I do and could see a team being willing to do a Donovan Mitchell thing where it's like, hey, let's just bring him on and convince him to stay. And you saw how that worked out for the Cavs. So I could see a team doing that for Giannis. But Kevin Durant, right? To me, it boiled down to, would Kevin Durant really want to come to the Lakers? If he wants to come to Lakers, kid, makes all the sense in the world, right? But that's the only way I see him actually going to the Lakers, right? If he has opened to any other team, there's a lot of talks about Houston, that Phoenix really likes what Houston has, right? And Houston really is, considering Kevin Durant. But here's the thing about Houston. Yes, Houston, kid, young, athletic, versatile wings. You got an up-and-coming star in Ahmed Thompson, right? You got Şengün, who can he start taking the next step and maybe get to being a 25-point-a-game guy rather than a 19-point-a-game guy, right? Like there are arguments to be made for Kevin Durant. But here's the problem with Kevin Durant on Houston, right? He has to do he has to be the sole offensive weapon, right? Unless Şengün ends up becoming a 27-point-a-game guy, right? The Jalen Green is all over the place, and you might end up having to trade Jalen Green in that deal, right? Like that guy is 1 minute 9 points, the next minute 90. Like the guy is like complete like night and day. There's times where Jalen Green looks like the next superstar, and then there's times where he looks god awful, right? But point is like Kevin Durant has to handle so much of the offensive burden and workload, and on many nights might have to be the offensive workload, right? Especially come playoff time. Right? He might have to be the guy that, hey, we need you to give us 40 a night. Nobody doesn't have to do that on the Lakers, right? Like you have Luka and you have LeBron and he could just be a guy, right? Like he'd go get you your 20 a night, 23, whatever. He'd probably give you 23 to 25 still, right? Because he's so incredibly efficient, right? Talk about a guy that you don't have to worry about him and his production. With him, LeBron and Luka, you'd have more than enough just balance, right? And you could kind of rest them with, you always just have two on the court at the same time, right? So LeBron gets the night off, you got Luka and KD. KD gets the night off, you got Luka and LeBron. Luka gets the night off, you got LeBron and KD. Plus, it'd be a lot of fun to see KD and LeBron on the same team together. That would be something pretty cool. The biggest argument that I usually see people is like, okay, well, what about the depth? Like, what about the depth? We have like the worst depth in all of basketball, and we don't have a ton of cap space, right? It's not like we have, $50 million to go sign a bunch of key free agents, right? We're relying on LeBron to take a discount. You know who LeBron might take a discount for? Kevin Durant, right? Like, if anybody was going to convince him to take a discount, it'd be Kevin Durant, right? And then now maybe you could go free up your full mid-level exception and go get that center or something like that. Maybe you can still go make a trade and make a move for a center. The question is, like, how much is Kevin Durant really going to go for, right? Because he's not a spring chicken anymore, right? I guess it'd be 38? Like, so he's got 2, maybe 3 years left. And, he's a free agent. He could just walk if it doesn't work out. You'd have to trade $54 million. He's going to make $54.7 million next year, right? So that's the thing. And, the Phoenix Suns, they can't like bottom out or anything like that. So they need to turn Kevin Durant into valuable players. Could an Austin Reeves or Rui Hachimura, right? Maxi Kleba, Gabe Vincent. Is that something that, hey, you get a point of attack, two-way guard, right? That could actually be your starting point guard if you want. Like, you get Austin Reeves, who could be that your point guard, playmaker, whatever for you, give you some offensive production, right? Especially, supposedly, Bradley Beal is open to a trade, right? So it'd be kind of, you could go and bring in Austin Reeves, right? And have him kind of be your third guy or whatever, or second guy or whatever, right? And then, go get a Rui Hachimura to pair it. Like, you just get more depth, more versatility, right? Get another scorer, right? Like, figure out whatever you want to do, right? And they'll all be expiring contracts. So if it doesn't work out, you just let everyone walk and you're good. And at least you freed up a bunch of cap, especially if you can get out of the Bradley Beal situation, right? So like, maybe there is a path to where you could get that done. Maybe there's a path where you could, convince Phoenix to maybe make that move. But I think at the end of the day, it really would boil down to Kevin Durant. Like, Kevin Durant would have to say like, hey, I only want to go to Lakers, right? Like, I want to go play with LeBron and Luka, try to go win a championship or two before my time is up here, right? Like, outside of that, I think he goes to several other teams. Like, if I'm being honest, the best destination for him is probably the San Antonio Spurs, in my opinion. I think him on the San Antonio Spurs, San Antonio would be terrifying, right? De'Aaron Fox, Victor Wembanyama, right? Kevin Durant. And Victor Wembanyama is cheap enough right now. He's making like $13 million next year and then like $16 million after that, to where you could still fill out a roster and like make moves and do all this stuff and actually put a team around Kevin Durant, De'Aaron Fox, and Victor Wembanyama. Spurs, I think, is probably the best place for Kevin Durant. Like, if I'm Kevin Durant, I'm probably going like, hey, get me to the Spurs, right? But I digress, right? Outside of that, Lakers, I do think, make a lot of sense. Like, if you want to win now, right? If you want to win another championship in the next 2 years, like, Luka and LeBron is probably your best bet to do that. Right? Lakers still would obviously need a center and stuff like that, but they could still go trade for a center, right? You could still go sign a center. You free up your full mid-level exception, go sign a center, get a couple, vet minimum guys, which you're doing anyway, right? Like, right now, what's the scenario the Lakers are in? They trade their expiring contracts to go get, a center, a Nick Claxton or something like that. And then, it's a bunch of vet minimum guys. Maybe best case scenario, LeBron takes a discount and you fill up your free mid-level exception. So now you trade for a Nick Claxton, you sign, a vet, a couple vet minimum guys, and then you sign a guy to the mid-level exception. Sure. But none of those guys combined are probably as good as Kevin Durant. And again, I'd rather like go get Kevin Durant and then go free up your mid-level exception. Now go sign, a center or whatever. I mean, at that point, it could be Clint Capella and then sign Jericho Sims to a vet minimum contract. Boom, there's your center position solved, right? Keep Dorian Finney-Smith. So now you could literally go like Luka, Dorian Finney-Smith, Kevin Durant, LeBron James, and like Clint Capella. Like, you're probably winning a championship, right? If you keep Jared Vanderbilt, boom, Jared Vanderbilt. You could go Jared Vanderbilt over Dorian Finney-Smith. Like, I don't hate the idea, right? Kevin Durant's still ultra efficient. He's still incredibly talented. He'll be 37 this year. I think I said 38 earlier, so he'll be 37 in September. So you have time, right? Like, you got probably 2-3 years before he's really, but his game is so good. Right. And it's not going to age poorly or anything like that. So like, he's a guy that could probably play till he's 50. Right. Because he's always going to be 7 feet. He's always going to be able to shoot the lights out. He's always going to be very efficient and skilled. Right. I mean, you look at this year. Right. 62 games played. Right. Which is good because he played 62 games last year and then he played 75 the year before. Right. So if he could give you, basically 65 games, 62 to 65 games a season, then you're in great shape, right? But this past season, he played 62 games. He averaged 36.5 minutes per game, right? Because he had to. They were terrible without Kevin Durant, right? Averaged 18.1 attempts per game, right? Shot 52.7% from the floor, 43% from three-point range on 6 attempts, right? Shot 57.4% on 12 attempts, had an EFG of 60%. It's ridiculous, right? Free throw shooting, 5.8 attempts, shot 84% from the free throw line, averaged 6 rebounds, 4 assists, a steal, 1.5 blocks, and just under 27 points per game. Now, obviously playing alongside LeBron and Luka, he's probably not averaging 27 points per game, but let's say 22, 6, and 5, right? On 60% true shooting, take that all day. All right, but anyway, as always, this is a discussion. Pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? Feel what your thoughts? Do you agree with me? Disagree with me? Kind of mix in the middle? Do you love the idea of bringing in a Kevin Durant? Do you hate the idea? Either way, love to hear it. Let me know down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me out. We enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one.